Welcome back, everyone. This is Mr. Brain, your friendly neighborhood gaming dad, here with another video. And this one's primarily going to focus on the update and some good and bad things that I've noticed from it. Let's just go through the system mail piece by piece. New aid station feature. This is a little worrisome. It's found within your hospital, as I just showed you. Brutal battles result in devastating deaths, and insufficient hospital capacity and lack of treatment will also cause casualties. It's both ways you can lose troops. However, the aid station can change the fate of troops on the brink of death and return lost troops every Monday. Having a privileges subscription allows some troops to be returned in advance daily. So, one, let's just look at the privileges subscription. It'll increase your capacity by 20%, so higher than this already. Gives you an aid station daily recovery rate, which is different from the weekly recovery rate that everybody else is going to get, and will increase the intake rate by 5%. I hate both of these because this gives spenders an additional edge they don't need because they're likely killing your troops better than you're killing theirs. So the fact that they're going to get some of theirs back daily as opposed to you weekly is already an issue. The intake rate increasing by 5% when the maximum can be 85%. So they're going to get 90% of their troops sent to the aid station and get them back daily. You're only going to get 85% of the deaths, and you get yours back weekly. So already don't like this. So we'll get to test this out with Dark Seal coming up and Island Raid, but that may make this privileges subscription almost a requirement. But the other thing that bothers me is the fact that this does say up to 85% of deaths. It means this is a changing rate. This very well might replace the revival or the return of dead troops for both Dark Seal and Island Raid. And if it does that, I guess it's nice that we'll get 50% of our troops back on a normal basis, but most people aren't fighting outside of Dark Seal and Island Raid. At least not at the later stages of the game. So if this fully replaces that, there might be some complaints on that end. On to the next one. We have Squad Skin Ghost Train. Is that able to be seen from the exchange shop yet? Rank rewards. No, this is just for Great Hunter. Currently can't see the new ones yet, so we'll learn more about that. Actually, might be able to see the more. There it is. It does not look like it's limited to a particular troop type. Honestly, this looks cool as hell. Giant ass flamethrower in the front of a skull train. The heat vision's a little unnecessary. You already have a giant ass flamethrower. But I do like this. Plus a 1% squad attack buff for having it, but that's pretty standard. The other squad skins, I believe, are pretty similar, plus 1%, plus 1%. And then hero armament optimizations. Yeah, I did like these. I didn't see this included in the notes, but you now have the ability to reset items that you have upgraded their star level. So if you needed them to turn them in or switch them out for something else, you can do that now. However, it does say that the hone attributes on both armaments that you pull out will be randomly generated, and honing materials will not be returned. So keep that in mind. If you're going to reset something, I would do it on items you're not going to use again, or have a plan in mind. But let's get into the hone menu. So we did have the UI updates here, and since I do need to get around to changing this, but so we'll go ahead and do that here. I can click either common or advanced, and if I click it once, it does as normal. It'll give me the new hone effect, or I can click auto. Auto will allow me to limit it to uncommon, elite, or legendary. If I were to click legendary, it will do the advanced hone until I get a legendary stat. I don't know how many it's going to cost me. It could cost me 5, it could cost me 50. It's hard to say. But this will continue to do it until you cancel it. Here, let's just go ahead and let's get an elite stat with this because I don't use riders. And we'll do an automatic honing. First one that came up was the squad block. I will go ahead and replace that. If I were to do it again, I'm at 677. It keeps going. I can stop at any time, but it'll keep using it until another purple stat pops up. So definitely saves on a lot of clicking. And I believe there was one other thing with that. Okay, nope, we had the automatic and the optimized view. I do not have any armament fragment choice boxes, so I can't test this portion of it out. 5. Alliance building optimizations. I have yet to find a button that allows me to finish a build and then stay in that build. However, it is likely within the build menu for the tower itself. Yes, if you were to go to a tower to help construct garrison after construction completes, make sure you check that box, especially for island raid. This will guarantee that your troops stay in the tower after construction is complete, and if there are any whales sitting outside your tower waiting on you to walk back home, they're not going to be able to get to you. Make sense? Hopefully it does. Also, the UI for this wasn't a big change, but you can switch the garrison captain pretty easily. Instead of clicking on the picture, you click on a flag and it changes it out. Pretty simple. I will send those home. On to the next one. Yeah, I showed you the privileges subscription update. There was nothing else added to it. You have the same rewards, the same development privileges that you're used to from my previous video. The new thing here is the aid station capacity and daily recovery and intake rate. For $4.99, $5 basically, you get all of the same privileges you're used to, plus these bonus aid station privileges. So keep that in mind. Maybe it's made it worth it for you. I will likely be getting it whenever Island Raid rolls around, just to see what the differences are. Up next, we have the mass deploy feature, and I love this one. I just made a video on preset squads that showed you that you can have up to 15 individual preset squads. However, now you can have 3 more mass deploy setups. It can be anywhere from 1 to 5. I don't know why you would have 1. And you can set them to be whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and have... It is a bit of a pain to set up, because heroes that exist in other marches can't be chosen through this process, so I would go ahead and set this up beforehand. Got my Tom, my Martin here, and say I wanted to throw Jaden Lee in this mess. Now, And just for giggles, I'll go ahead and add 2 other marches so you can see what it looks like. A focused the difference between focused and even distribution is whenever you do not have enough troops to put all of these out on the field. As you can see, once I got down to the 5th march, I don't have enough infantry to cover it. If I click focused, it'll keep it the way I have it originally set up. If I click even, it'll change the entire mode. Setting it up so that I'm able to use a full march whenever possible, or changing things up as necessary to be able to get bigger marches out on the field. So I will remove these, set it up for my primary field marches, and I'm just going to throw this for giggles. And I will march, and it sends all 3 out at the same time to the same place. I would go ahead when you get a chance and set these 3 marches, set your 3, 4, 5 marches to a preset as soon as you can. So let's go. World Channel. Don't like this one bit. Not because I don't like the concept, but the fact that there's a limit to the amount of messages that you can send. Why? I understand that wanting to control being toxic in this, but you can be extremely toxic in only 30 messages, and there's not enough other people's messages to drown that out. And limiting how many times people can talk to each other isn't ideal. And there's still a 15-second timer before you can send other messages. That I'm perfectly fine with. It's basically like slow down in Discord so that people aren't completely flooding the chat all at once. And now I can only send 29 messages today. Just seems like it's such a weird thing to have. But I digress. Mail sorting. I like this one. If I come into reports, I can click sort mail. It'll sort it by battle, zombie, scout, and others, events or gathering. Scouts, what you think it's going to be. Zombies is all of your hive minds and zombie kills. Battle is exactly that, all of your battles. I haven't fought anything in a while, so most of my stuff is in zombie or other. Let's see, was there anything else worth talking about? Oh, yes, the spawn mechanism. This is great. Now, granted, I didn't see a lot of anything lower, 4 or lower in resource nodes once you got to zone 3, but one of the biggest problems that we had with hive minds is the fact that there were always level 3s, 2s, and 1s around our area. There's not anymore. There seems like there might be a few less hive minds, but the fact that we have so many level 4s and 5s around us is great. And all that will spawn in to zone 3 is level 5s. It's also a quality of life bonus for any farms sitting outside of zone 3, in zone 2, and for Dark Seal and stuff like that, because they can only have level 4s and 5s minimum in resource plots. I have not seen anything less than a 4 out here, which means they can still gather adequately while sitting out here. Honestly, really nice. I like that. 11, obviously I can't check that because all of my buildings and technology are not at max levels. First aid optimizations. Let's see if we can work with this, because I currently don't have 10,000 troops sitting in my hospital. Yeah, there's no way that I can currently check this. However, I can see if I can heal, but I can still request for help. So obviously it's not limited in the way that we thought it was. Help requests can only be initiated when the number of injured troops in the hospital exceeds 10,000. But you just watched me do it here. So this didn't get implemented properly, and I hope it never does. And that was other bug fixes and optimizations. There's a couple of graphical things that you might have noticed, like the house changed. But other than that, that's pretty much everything about this update. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Reach out to me on Discord if you have any issues with it. That way we can get them passed up to the developers as soon as possible. But with that, this is Mr. Brain, your friendly neighborhood gaming dad, signing off.